Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Weekend Frivolity. This is our funnily named Broiler Chicken Show. Bark, bark, bark. Why? When I used to be a gnarly old commodities broker, one of the markets that we used to always try and show, but nobody was ever interested in trading was broiler chickens. They just could never get the contract off the ground. Anyway, it always made me smile when I thought about broiler chickens. Anyway, so sorry, I just changing my space heater here in front of me. Living up in the Pacific Northwest. Actually, we got a ton of snow on the ground recently, so it's been making life a little bit challenging up here. Hope you all had yourselves a good New Year's and a good Christmas, and I suppose Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever celebration you have. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Eastern Orthodox church or religion has their Christmas now. And then I suppose over in China and stuff, they have a Chinese New Year coming up here through the month of January, so lots of festive events. Actually, I was interested. I didn't learn that really. I think it's in Iran. Their big holidays in the spring, like their New Year. Learn something new every day. Anyway, 2021 done. My goodness, what a year that was. Started out all great guns and everybody rah bullish. Right into the spring there, and then it almost felt like just a big balloon was let out, except for one part of the market. The DeFi market just seems to, if you happen to caught the right direction there, man, those things just kept on smoking. Here we are into 2022. Of course, I probably haven't done us too many favors of late because I've been rather cautionary. I think probably a really good lesson, well, not lesson, just a really good saying. And if you haven't heard it before, this is there was one gentleman who wrote like a whole trading user's manual. I don't know whether he still watches the videos or not. It's weird. I think I must have turned the comments off because I don't even get any comments on these videos anymore. I did like how we got rid of the thumbs down thing, but I must have changed something so that the comments had been turned off. I know the Daily Breeze Monday to Friday, well, there's no point in having the comments there for internal videos, but maybe I should try and turn the comments on for these weekend videos for you guys. But anyway, I guess the point that I was going to try and make, now it's completely slipped my mind. Anyway, it's actually, I'll go back and I'll listen to this video later on. I listened to almost all my rants just to make sure I didn't say anything totally outlandish, and if I did, then I quickly apologize. So it'll be funny to see what it was that I was talking about, and now I've gotten completely distracted. Anyway, gotta say, actually, what's funny is that I literally mentally thought, especially with regard to the website, that where we are today is where I thought we were exactly 1 year ago. So it's almost like 2021 just didn't even happen. One good part about 2021, of course, is that those people that are really big on DeFi, I really see that DeFi is sort of like a next evolutionary step for the crypto world and crypto community. I think the POS story is really going to give the POW people a real run for their money when they keep going on and on and on about the energy implications, energy use implications of POW. Then there's debates back and forth, and it goes hum and hawing. I suppose it's probably going to turn into a political football as well as everything else in this world. But I am a little concerned about Mr. Benner. Actually, that's what I was talking about earlier, right? Mr. Benner had sort of suggested 22-23 should be a bit of a tough year. I don't know whether we can still have another rally into the beginning of 2022. I do understand, and I've actually spent a lot of time recently, I think even the last Broiler Chicken show, talking about short-term interest rates and how I'm very worried about. The problem is of course, the public always makes the wrong decision. They always think backwards. They always are reacting to yesterday's news and yesterday's market and thinking the same thing will happen. And usually it doesn't. So, when we were at the very apex of the interest rate cycle, i.e. interest rates as low as possible, the perception is, of course, money is for free indefinitely, and that's just the way that it is. And that's completely wrong. It's usually when the socialist movement is at the very peak of its power. I remember distinctly back in 79, 80, watching the commissars standing on top of their Politburo, all proud of themselves during the Moscow Olympics, blah, blah, blah. And ironically enough, that was the very peak. Also, too, interestingly enough, my dear leader in my country right now, his father was actually our dear leader at exactly the same point, and he went and nationalized a huge chunk of the Canadian energy market right at the very top of the energy cycle. Way to go, Canada. You bought the top. I mean, the government couldn't have timed their purchase and investment in the oil industry any worse. And it turned out to be one of the most catastrophic investments. Mr. Trudeau Sr. Nationalized the oil industry and called it Petro-Canada. And then ultimately ended up selling it to some, I think it's some Chinese tycoon back in the early 2000s for just an absolute song and a dance. I mean, it's just ridiculous how terrible the deal was. And that's usually what happens in socialism. Governments always make horrible investment decisions and tons of money is wasted. And of course, that's exactly what the banksters want. Is every single generation, whoever's in power just overspends. If it's fiscal conservatives, well then they'll justify spending money on war machines. Look at what happened there, Jesus, in the early 2000s. Man, I bet the Middle East didn't see that coming, eh? In 1996, 1997, the Middle East, Saddam's sitting there going, yeah, life's pretty good. And then, wham! Anyway, that was a right-wing, fiscally conservative government. How did they blow themselves up? They went and, fired off a bunch of very expensive missiles. And then the flip side is the socialists. Of course, they all want to fund all these sort of pet projects and, what's the average speed of grass growing, per hour, state by state, given different fertilizer ingredients. Of course, that sets up huge new industries. The irony of it all is you could argue that the whole medical industry is nothing more than a function of the petrochemical industry. But anyway, that's here and there. Anyway, so the point is that the banksters, they love this. Go and overspend. Eventually they use words like, because when it gets ridiculous and you got to cut it back, it's like misappropriations. But during this sort of panic time, and I think we're in one of those sort of panic times, man, the spending, just ridiculous. Over the top. I mean, like my country, there isn't even any government oversight about the spending right now. It's just, and I'm sure some of the craziest, most over-the-top, insane, pork barrel projects are being funded right now. But, oh well, there's capital. That says modern-day society we live in. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk markets. It's the start of a new year, so always when we do start off a brand new year, we should be thinking about things like January barometers. Actually, I think I did a chart recently, speaking to the January barometer. So, obviously nothing written in stone in this game, but not a bad. Oh, geez, must be. Oh, weird. I could have sworn. I know Colleen even commented that she was impressed. There we are. The chart. This is basically the whole price action for the year. There was January's price action. You can see January was basically sort of tilted up. And what did the whole year do? Well, it was basically tilted up. So this is nothing more than there is January's price action. So this image you see, the teal line here, is nothing more than that January price action off of like an hourly chart kind of thing, just sort of stretched out. So, you can see. Interestingly enough, most of the time because, and is it the dog wags the tail or the tail wags the dog? Tough to say. What you find is that, and this is why I like to follow the first hour, the first day, the first week, the first full month, just to sort of get like an average of what January's sort of tone is, what its temperament is. I get the impression, and this is a pretty typical seasonal sort of start. We come out of the gate, bang, nice big pop, right? And if anything, you can see they actually gapped the market open and then pulled it back, and then we started our rally. So a little bit of shenanigans right out of the gate, but in essence, there's your very normal seasonal start. Usually the market is fairly happy. It goes buy when it snows, sell when it goes. So in essence, there's your very normal sort of start to the year. Usually middle of March, right, when the seasons change. The end of March is Japanese fiscal year end. There's also a few other countries. Canada, for example, fiscal year end is March 31st for government. So there's a bunch of sort of money moving, position squaring through that window. And then also, too, I would argue that seasonally, when the snow starts going and we start sort of transitioning back into sort of a non-winter type sort of mental mindset in North America, we usually have a bit of a shift in there. And there's religious holidays through that event window, not a coincidence. The amount of sun that's hitting the northern hemisphere, which predominantly dominates our sort of economy of the world. It changes. Classic historical references: beware the Ides of March. Sadly, my wife, unfortunately, she succumbed to the Ides of March. So the Ides of March, unfortunately, hit me very, very hard. Year in, year out. So, point being that usually there's a bit of a transition. Sometimes that transition, it goes all the way out into sort of the end of May, beginning of June. So somewhere between the end of March. Sometimes it comes in very early, especially if there's like tax policy change. Sometimes you get a pivot in early April when they're right around taxes. Other times, if it's just mid-cycle, that'll drift even further. I often tell people, if we start getting near my birthday, be careful. Usually my birthday is... usually it is May 11th, so usually the market pivots right around there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think crypto pivoted right around there really nicely last year. But stock market, didn't really show any weakness. I suppose there is that May pivot that I'm talking about. Last year didn't really translate into much. Right? That was basically this pullback here. Then we, once we get through this, and there's also tax-driven events here. And for instance, it's kind of odd, but the end of June is actually the tax loss selling window for countries like Australia. So they, have the exact opposite sort of calendar for them. So there's a lot of, and the old adage is sell in May and walk away. we have, if you think about how things like the construction industry, the driving industry, how it all sort of builds up into sort of a climax into the early May, and then sort of we pause once we hit sort of June. June's usually for like traders and stuff. Everybody's getting ready for sort of summer vacation. Interestingly enough, usually what ends up happening is the trough usually comes in somewhere around June, end of July or beginning of July, right around that U.S. annual birthday holiday, right? 4th of July, all that stuff. Everybody wraps himself around in the flag, and they all go and buy stock first thing Monday morning coming back from vacation. We love USA. USA! USA! Isn't that how it goes, Grim, right? I love that about the Americans. You gotta love that about them. It could be anything. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, they break out. USA! USA! And of course, if you're anywhere else in the world, they're just like, oh, shut up. That's just me being silly. Anyway, I used to live in LA, so I know that culture very, very well. All right, so back to our story. Interestingly, this year you can see usually we have a pretty friendly end of the summer, right? Coming out of that sort of 4th of July window, and it's really all about sort of, second and third quarter earnings and all that kind of stuff. And then we usually top out the end of the summer. And ironically enough, into Labor Day weekend, Labor's Day, that's actually usually when the market tops out. And then we sort of go into some sort of seasonal trough. And, sometimes these things trough all the way into things like October. And, in things like stock market crashes and stuff. If anything, you really should be looking for this correction. Things like 1929. One of the main reasons why 1929 happened the way that it did, crash in 87, same thing, is this thing just kept going up and up and up and up. And all through the September and all through October, it just kept going up and up and up and up. And I can tell you, that's a potion for disaster. If you ever see that, you see the stock market booming higher in September, you got to go, something doesn't smell right here. So anyway, I might argue that this correction here, very normal, very seasonal, actually set up whatever base this was here. I'd also say, too, that in this particular market state, the question really, I think, is all about what's normal. And as long as we're not in quote-unquote normal kind of environment, then I think that the rule book actually gets sort of put to the side. And you're going to have crazy-ass policies approved during not normal time frames. So we all know what the not normal is about this current cycle. But I get the impression like this was the regular January barometer. You notice that this is sort of, the end of the summer kind of idea, that rally. There's the correction. You can see that the market was kind of thinking, we're probably going to have to do our seasonal pullback. And I think the market was kind of thinking that, okay, now we got to get back to normal. And that, unfortunately, means that, right now, the central planners have everything geared towards maximum stimulus, right? And they're trying to even, the socialists in the U.S. government are trying to pass even more stimulus, which, frankly speaking, I don't think the economy really needs. The banksters, of course, say, well, we've got to inflate the economy. We have to increase the prices of everything. So then that way the old debt doesn't represent such a massive percentage of our GDP. So the banksters, they're more than happy with as much inflation as you want to inject in the system. We just sadly went through actually a 20-year period where we were supposed to deflate. And we didn't. So if we didn't deflate when we were supposed to deflate, what are we going to do when we're supposed to inflate? Uh-oh. I mean, I'm joking about a house being $1 million here in Vancouver. by the end of all this, there's no reason why these houses can't be $10 million. I mean, it's just another fucking zero on the end. You ever seen the money that we actually use here in Canada? It's plastic. We actually literally use plastic money. What the hell? I mean, there is no value to it. It's kind of tragic. So, anyway, I guess the point being that, and I kind of conjectured here, if we ever do have to go back to normal, and I get the impression that the market was kind of thinking, okay, well, we'll have enough of this, sickness, I guess is the best way we can describe it without getting into trouble. At some point, we have to pay the piper, and we have to sort of rein things in. In recent shows, I talked about how interest rates are being driven by the market right now and not really Fed central planners. So this is a very dangerous time period to be asking for the Fed for help, because the Fed's probably going to say, sorry, can't help you. I've told you repeatedly about how worried I am about things like the Canadian real estate market, because frankly speaking, I think it's a house of cards. It's just waiting to collapse, and the question is when does Winnie let the whole thing collapse? Does he let it collapse? He might not. Where's my this interest rate picture? And actually, this probably isn't the best one to show you. What I do find interesting is that the interest rates are still moving up. Actually, what's the best place to show you is our wonderful website. Have I talked to you guys about this website that we have built here? Oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. But if I want to look at something like, we can even just, whoops, that's not what I wanted. That was weird. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I hit the back button when I wanted to hit the forward button. Bonds. Left click, not right click. There we go. I'll tell you, man. These things look dangerous. This is like the interest rate environment. And I remember I went through this recently with you guys. And this is what I kind of like to do. Is I like to just surf the market. And really what I'm looking for is in an image like this, what I'm looking for is, what am I seeing? M's or W's? And are we going from the upper left to the lower right? And if these are bond prices, that means interest rates are going up. Or are we going from the lower left to the upper right? And if that's the case, that means interest rates are going down. So interest rates going up, interest rates going up, interest rates going up. Like we've talked about this. I did a half-hour rant about this a while ago. So I suppose this is kind of interesting to see. The muni bond is actually calming down. And if anything, one thing I am seeing is the longer end of the curve is actually sort of calming down here a bit. So that means flattening. And of course, if short-term interest rates move higher than longer-term interest rates, that means recession. So that's probably not a bad sort of thinking going forward. But what I wanted to show you was, how am I going to show you this? I guess I have it over here. I gotta look at all these cryptos. Oh man, I see so many fun things in crypto. I should stop talking about interest rates and get on with fun stuff like what screeners are telling us. Anyway, what I'm worried about here, of course, is this is you can clearly see what my expectations are. These are interest rates, and that to me looks like a bullish bot setting up if I've ever seen one. So that probably means that the bond market heads down, and this is the image that I wanted to show you. Yeah. That's an M. These are T bonds. There's M's there, maybe a little bit of a W, but we've been talking about this. This is the big sickness event. Shouldn't we debate mortgaging our future? Shut the hell up, right? All that stuff. I actually think that the trend channel is here, so that means that the farther and farther that we move away from this, the bigger thumping we can have just to get back to this trend line, and then heaven forbid we lose this and we have to come down here, which I think ultimately has to happen. And this is this whole sort of long-term celestial pivot, like what I think, and actually you can kind of see it now. Can you kind of see how this is left shoulder, head, neckline, So neckline is probably going to be, like we said, probably riding this down through here. Neckline, shoulder, and then from there, my hunch is we go into because keep in mind, right now I think we're in like a 30, 40-year rising interest rate environment. So, put it together. I actually do like the idea. I know it's a bit sloppy here. Let's see if I can just clean that up a bit. I do like the idea of AB, CD. Yeah, so that's going to take us right down into that neckline. It's dangerous. And this is what I think absolutely kills the Canadian real estate market. Should absolutely destroy them. So what I have to do is I have to be damn patient, damn disciplined. Don't go and fucking panic and pay these stupid, ridiculous, inflated prices. I got to wait for this to play out. Because I think what the way the system works is the banksters want, that $1,000 a month payment. That's what they want. They want the $1,000 payment, or $2,000, or whatever the hell the damn multiple is. Now, if long-term interest rates are like, say, 3%, 4%, well, then that $1,000 buys you a certain amount of mortgage premium. Maybe, I use the example of a $1 million house, that 3 or 4% I think works out to, if you put down 50%, $500,000, then on the other $500,000, it's about $2,000 to $3,000 monthly mortgage payment. If interest rates all of a sudden jackknife up 1, 2%, something like this happens, it's a shock to the system. How does the bank respond? Remember, the bank wants that $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is. It wants that chunk of your flesh. And it doesn't really care. So if interest rates go up, what does that mean that the principal price of the property has to do? And this is what I think is going to happen. I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. Interest rates are going to go up because these bond prices are going to collapse here. So if they want to maintain that same monthly payment from their slaves, what does the principal price of the property have to do? And I think it has to fall. Anyway, we'll see what happens, but there's my great prognostication, Mr. Beamish. Bury your head in the sand. The problem that I have here is that everything that I see that's happened in our society over the past few years has just set ourselves up for disaster. So, if anything, I'd almost prefer that the break happens and then we get it done with and then we can all move on with our lives. And the irony of it all, of course, for all you crazy Bitcoiners, is some kind of event like that happening where this whole market just melts down. It probably helps Bitcoin, right? You're probably going to get into that sort of big panic, sort of, oh my God, run out of the US dollar, run out of everything, and run into Bitcoin. Bitcoin zips up to a couple $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. So fingers crossed for you. I hope that's, for all the crypto enthusiasts. That's been sort of, I think, your sort of dream scenario, is that at some point the rubber has to hit the road. Now, this might just be a very orderly rise in interest rates and just the torture goes on, slowly drip, 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 drip. I think the case here is just really, how much longer can the market absorb all this crazy-ass spending by these governments before it actually starts saying, enough is enough? I don't know what the answer to that is. I mean, this can go on for quite a while. They always say the market can go much further, much longer than anybody can remain solvent, right? Isn't that an famous Adam Smith quote? So anyway, long and short of it here is not really a big fan of buying bonds, being long government paper. Of course, that's music to all your guys' ears. And I won't be for quite a while. And I'm deathly worried about things like overinflated Chinese. Mind you, Chinese, it doesn't really matter. They'll just go and nationalize things if bad gets bad. But some place in like Canada that's sort of a quasi-free market state, I mean, does Canada have to tip heavily into state control here? I don't know. But I'll tell you, if this scenario plays out the way I think it does, it's going to be tough. 22, 23 was the Benner cycle. And man, I've been going on about this week after week after week. That's all I seem to talk about lately. So maybe I should move on to other topics. All right. Be forewarned, if you're carrying debt, just pay off that debt as much as you can. I suppose one good thing, right? And we have, of course, I think, in a weird sort of way, if the sickness was done, I think that the socialist movement within the United States would have finished, and there probably would be no more sort of, stimulus-free sort of spending, call it infrastructure, call it, what does Mr. Biden call it? He has a build back better, right? Whatever that means. And now, with the latest sickness and with how it's sort of ravaging the latest sort of hotspots, that could come under debate. We might actually be able to jam that stimulus through. And in a weird sort of way, I think that's what's going on here with the U.S. dollar index. There's also, too, I noticed that, we're not supposed to specifically talk about it, so I'll try and be as vague as possible. But down in South Africa, they're saying that they've already feel like whatever it is has crested. And that actually they're on the other side of the crest. So, South Africa didn't fall off a cliff. So maybe this becomes just a big sort of, passing. Either way, it's fascinating that one of our longtime veterans, David O., he had on a megaphone pattern on this chart. I can never remember how he does it. Anyway, he shares it with our community. I think it's... and every time I say this, he sends it to me. Say, here it is, Brian. This is like the 20th time I've sent it to you. Something along these lines. I don't know whether I'm doing this correct or not. No, I can never remember which angle he did it off of. Anyway, something like that. I don't think it was... Oh, yeah, it might have been that steep. Tough to say. Anyway, so interesting if we do something along those lines. Interesting how that has gone and emmed out rather well right off of that damn trend line. Which means this thing could come zipping down here pretty damn hard. The interesting thing, too, is that if you were a U.S. dollar index bull, notice my little zip down. I mean, there's the kick in the pants. And I tell you, man, I've been getting my ass kicked with these damn currency options this past years. I totally was U.S. dollar bullish through this whole fucking thing, and yet I've somehow managed to lose money on my currency options. Boo! Ugh, drive you nuts. Anyway, it is what it is. But I do like the idea of, if you're going to look to reload on this U.S. dollar index down in this area, which means that probably a lot of these sort of pairs that are trading against the U.S. dollar index, they're probably cheap and they're actually going to rally. And then we go and look at something like the euro here, which is, 35% of the U.S. dollar index is the euro. And lo and behold, does that look like maybe it could have a little bit of a dead cat bounce here? It's not the best trade location, but you can see W's trying to come in. It could rally back up here pretty nicely. We might even do something like just a really simple channel. Boom, boom, boom. Interesting if it can recapture that. Not quite sure. Might want to... go like so, and like so, and like so. Interesting. So, looks to me like we got ourselves a little bit of a war going on down here on a pretty important level here on the euro. And it looks like that war is resolving back for the bulls. Probably also, too, if we do something along these lines here. Well, yeah, I guess not. Well, I guess I would be going something like that, believe it or not. Yeah, well, so maybe if you're hunting a trade here, I like the idea of maybe something along those lines. If you can get something like that to set up. Anyway, so I mean, I guess it's against those lows is what you're trying to take the trade against. Yeah, it's okay, nothing great. This is probably nothing more than just a counter trend rally back against that fail level, and probably hunting the short there is probably the trade. And anyway, as I kind of said there earlier, that's that sort of opposite US dollar. I would be like hunting a long down here. So anyway, I had whack of these calls on the books. They were leaps, and on the UUP, which unfortunately it never did get back to the 50% rule. This thing here, I think, actually did get all the way back to the 50% rule. Boom. Yeah, it did. But the UUP never did. I mean, total crooks. Bastards. Oh, well. Okay, so US dollar a little bit weak. And if this US dollar is weak, that technically is a risk-on bet. And if that's a risk-on bet, then that means things like stock markets can move higher. Well, there's a goddamn W. Maybe this is a big honking bullish bot here. I mean, that, I mean, the interesting thing is like I said, with this latest variant, the whole socialism free money push might be right back on the table, where bullish bot takes us like something up here. I mean, not really a very good entry whatsoever, but 49.76. I think we heard Julian saying 50,000 on the Dow. Sounds fine to me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. There is a W on the crude oil, and it almost looks to me like this is an inverted head and shoulders here. So something like there is the head and shoulders pattern. Goes boom. I don't know, maybe not. Boom, boom, something like that. Boom, and down to there, and woohoo! So if that's the case, then I don't think energy goes, well, yeah, it probably does go to new highs. But I don't think a heck of a lot further than that. It's just going to be, usually the unleaded story goes, you buy your unleaded the middle of February, sell it the middle of May, you made money 9 out of the past 10 years. So I could very easily see that, through the summer, through the winter, through that seasonal setup period, they're setting up some sort of trade up into the spring here, over here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I don't know whether we go straight up from here. I mean, maybe we do. This thing happens sooner rather than later. But I could very easily see this work its way up into this area, into the spring. So, you've got that. You've got the stock market bullish. You got the US dollar index here bearish. Sure looks to me like we're going to get a risk-on move here. And that sort of brings us to what you guys are all interested in. Crypto! I don't know whether this is the best place to start the conversation. One thing I will say, in fact, probably why don't we just start with a brand new chart. BTC USD. Whoops, can't do it there. Let's do it over here. Well, actually, okay, that's clear. Yeah, that's fine. So can I do like a weekly? Hey, there we go. Okay, so, a couple things that jump out of me just looking at this weekly chart. I think the first is, we always say, what's a 50% rule? So WD GAN just keeps you honest. You can see the range. Oh, that's a range over what? I guess that's 2019, eh? So 1, 2, 3 full years now. 50% rule is actually even just right against all these lows. So we're definitely in the upper part of the market. Then, ironically enough, you do another 50% rule, then you can kind of say, okay, well, where are we in this part of the market? and you can see that actually we're in sort of the uber bullish part of the cycle sort of market. Bullish, but not so. And actually it really feels like that, you know. There are lots of sort of names in the space that are rallying, but Bitcoin itself, it's kind of boring. So if anything, this isn't a bad way to think about this. You know, sort of uber bull. And then we'll go sort of like semi-bull. Maybe something like that. Then we could probably do another one. I guess we're going to go orange. So this would be sort of like, especially if we lose these lows, people are going to be pretty darn sanguine. They're not going to be like, you know, fall off a cliff kind of, oh my God, you know. Well, and maybe they will. I suppose if the kids start doing stupid investment decisions, they might. But, you know, in this part of the market, you know, the worst part about it is this is where everybody and their brother actually is bearish, is down here. When really, you know, you probably should be bearish up here because that's when tops usually come in. But sadly, you know, and this is, and I was thinking about this the other day. And let's see if you guys can finish this. Oh, and I don't want to say the guy's name. Don Jose, we go down to 1K. Mr. Novagrasse, we bottomed. What's the next word? Out. Thank you. Bottom and out. Anyway, so that was a really good analogy of that, because when we were down in sort of this quadrant last go round, right, you could do exactly the same logic here. I mean, should I do that? Would it be kind of a good experiment? Anyway, when we were down in here, which would have been sort of the red quadrant, right down at the bottom end of the range, everybody and their brother was bearish. Right? And, you know, Novogratz says we're bottomed out, but Tomve says we go down further. You know, who's driving the $1 billion hedge fund, right? So probably best that we pay attention to Mr. Novogratz. Anyway, so does this sort of describe the sort of current temperament in this space? I kind of think so. You know, when we were up here, try telling somebody not to buy. I mean, it's like impossible, you know? And of course, the worst part about it is the guys that I even train were saying, man, TA doesn't mean anything. When you hear people say TA doesn't mean anything, that definitely means we are in a green box. You better be damn careful. So we kind of broke that, kind of in teal right now. I don't think we're overly bearish, and there's some really cute little stories, and this is where our little site just fucking shines. Because, you know, and this is the sort of tweets that I was putting out earlier today, is that all I'll do is I'll just sit and surf. And if we're in this kind of environment, I'm still okay with hunting long ideas. Because what it says to me is, you know, maybe Bitcoin itself is on pause, and, you know, maybe there's a bunch of names that are sort of on pause. They're not in the best trade location, but I swear, man, this is so fun. It's just so next level. We get this thing polished down. There's not going to be anything else on this in the web that's like this. I mean, we can just totally screen the whole damn crypto universe. This is the piece of the thing you should stay the hell away from. SHX. I have no idea what it is, but just stay the fuck away from it. But we can do the exact opposite. What's really hot right now? GNO versus EUR. What is GNO? I don't even know what that is. Let's go see what the heck this is. Ooh, nice. Beautiful. Nice double bottom breakout. Away it goes. Look at the indicators, all nice and happy. Ooh, look at this. Actually, somebody on the site was like, Brian, can you please explain to me what these red and green bands are and how I'm supposed to trade with them? And I'm like, yeah, sure, as soon as Short tells me. I have no idea. I think they're Bollinger Bands, but I'm not totally positive. This is why we're still giving this away for $100, is we're still building this shit out. as soon as I have tutorials and stuff for how to use this and what this even means, and thank you, Sword, love you dearly. You can see breakouts above these red bars. Clearly, that means bullish. So hey, something big's going on here. I mean, wow, what a breakout! I don't know what the news is. This is that Genosis, isn't it? I think I saw this thing perking up there yesterday. So, okay, where was I? So, I mean, it's just so pretty. And what I just did this morning, and it was so cool, is now you can just, and this is what I like to call surfing, is I'll just surf, right? And what's so fascinating is look at Sjord's got this 1 inch versus USDT versus BUSD versus USDT versus ETH versus USDT versus BTC. I mean, he has every single market covered possibly for these things. It's incredible. So anyway, so I was just going through this and just scrolling, and of course Brian, he likes W's. And lo and behold, excuse me. I can't remember. I mean, 59 pages of these charts. 59 pages. And you can just sit and surf and just go, okay, where are the W's? Where are the W's? And when I found this one that I want to show you, I was just like, oh my goodness, so pretty. And then you go and pull up the chart, and it's like, oh my god. I would definitely take an interesting look at that thing. No idea what that is, but I want to show you just the one that jumped out at me today. Man, is this ever pretty? I tell you. Look at that, AKT versus USDT. Jesus, look at that beautiful W taking off there. There's some actually pretty healthy rallies going on in this space right now, folks. Look at that AKT. That looks pretty. I think I remember I bought that, and actually I want to get out of it because my old setup failed, but it looks like a new one just came in. But let me show you a story. I don't know where the hell it is. I can't remember what. I mean, there's so many names to look at. Like I think I had to get to the C's before I found this one. I seem to remember in the tweet. So let's see if I can just fast forward. Okay, so there's the A's. And I don't know how many pages this. You know what? This is just going to take forever. Anyway, the point of the matter here is you can see if a market looks like this ant did like a week or two ago, Brian's going to get all excited. And sure enough, when I was surfing through this, come on. Look, it's still loading. There's so many names. I had to get to the C's before I found it. When I saw it, I went, oh my goodness. Let's see if I can quickly jump there. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, maybe I can. Come on, baby. I don't want to blow it up, though, because I would imagine this thing could be temperamental if we tax it too hard. I tell you, this thing, it's so awesome. I mean, you can just sit here. It doesn't matter. We've got all the ETFs. We got all the big stocks. Look at all these damn cryptocurrencies. I mean, you can surf the whole bloody market. It's just so awesome. Okay, still in the B's. I wanted to show you the C's because this name that I saw this morning, I was just like, wow, that is so cool. And I have no idea what they do, but I do remember I said that I didn't see anything in the A's and B's, but when I got to the C's, oh boy, did I get excited. So where the hell is it? Yeah, I think it's in here. Don't think it was that. But isn't that incredible? I mean, he's got everything in here. All right, so let's see what we got here. The C's. Where are you, C's? Actually, I was buying some of this cello. That was the name that Danny liked. I think I bought some of that recently. Oh, this cello. That's what it was. That one. Love that. But we can talk about that later. What I wanted to show you was... Isn't this so? Oh, yeah, here it is. This chest. This is it. Okay, so you can see we're sort of like okay, all right, some W's, that's not bad. And all of a sudden you come down here and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is this? Look at this. Oh my god. Have you ever heard me say the longer the channel, the what? I mean, look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Chess versus USDT. So, clearly, and all I'm doing is I'm just surfing. But this is exactly what you want to see. Huge injection of volatility. So somebody's obviously interested in something here. Then they bring it right back down to the bottom, and then it just goes sideways. So then you say, what the hell's going on with this thing? What should I maybe take a look at it? And like, this is the easiest way to play this market. Because like I said, we're in this, and actually that's good dovetail. We're still in the market's relatively bullish. I mean, it's not, this isn't a buy, but we're not in the, oh boy, crypto winter. So can you still be hunting ideas? And so that was this funny little chart. And this was just lower time frame. But let's see if I have this. I think, yeah. I just went through and I pulled the chart up on the dailies, and I don't know what the story is here. So this is the most important thing about fundamental analysis. And for God's sakes, do not invest your money in the market unless you know what the fundamental story is. Why are you buying this? Is there actually a justification for these things actually existing? I did a little bit of due diligence, not a ton. But, just sort of kicking the tires a little bit. I didn't mind this story. The question is, where the hell do I have that page? I guess that was over here. So, I've gone through, I'm surfing through my charts, and all of a sudden I find, an idea. And I do, my analysis, and I see, gee whiz, there's W's in all of my indicators. OBV's pointing up. MACD's trying to W out. You can see the W in RSI, see the W in Willie. Willie came out as stupid. And this is what I really like, because remember, I'm chicken shit, and I usually work my stops against previous lows. So I saw this panic low here of $1.60, and then once, twice, 3, 4 times they took the market down against that low, and they just couldn't punch through that bottom. So if I'm going to take a risk in the marketplace, that's what I love to see. And what I thought was so cool is that, any sort of position trader, even a swing trader for that matter, this isn't a terrible idea to look at. And especially with the way this profile looks, that profile to me, that's a full profile. If this thing accepts here, it's going to jump right back up into this area here. Could you get yourself an ace? And it turns out what is that? That's like I think it's a 3-to-1 risk reward. Just trading that. I think a lot of traders would love that. What I thought was really cool, and this is also a fantastic sort of application of what we do, is, like we said, we're just, here, this is before the fact. The market hasn't even broken out yet. It just turns out that through today, the damn thing took off. What I wanted to show you was also, if you happen to see a name like this and you're like, okay, well, I could trade it. Obviously, it's setting up here. I pull up the chart. I guess I can just show you here. And it's very uppy. Things are looking like they're rock and roll. Can I not hunt? Can I not drill down to a lower time frame chart and just simply say, show me some sort of bullish setup and I'll get in there? And that's basically what this was. And this is, if anything, this is such a beautiful analogy of what it is that we do at TRI. And that's what I was really sort of pounding the table about here on things like this, is that you have to learn how to run a business of trading. You just have to learn that. And if you don't know that, that's what our whole school program is all about. I mean, maybe you are the shit when it comes to understanding cryptocurrencies. That's fine. Maybe you could code circles around me. I have hit begin. I hit enter, so that's line 1. And I'm on to line 2, and you already finished the code, and it's already running circles around me. That could very easily be the case. I'm not that good of a coder. But the one thing that I think I'm damn good at is teaching you guys how to run a small business of trading with at least the perception of actually having a profitable small business of trading. What time frame you are operating off of, well, that's up to you. And the great part about it is our universe, the concepts that we teach are universal. The universe is fractal in nature that we could drill down to, like, and I thought this was so fun, right? Is that, okay, well, you can see 1350 is the double bottom breakout of this particular one. Hell, you could buy that if you want. Or you could be like a total badass motherfucking trader, right? And there's that same trend line, and you're going to be like, okay, well, there's the breakout. All right, just give me a W. Give me a W. Anywhere. Give me a W. Give me a W. Give me a W. Okay, this is now, hey, we're finally getting some higher lows. This is good to see. Give me a W. Give me a W. I mean, maybe that's doable. Kind of wishy-washy. This is what I want to see. Look at this. Down, up, down, breakout. And look at this. Right through this window right here. Look at your volume. Right? This is what I really try to teach the level oneers, that volume impetus. The bulls were stepping in and validating that that W is the shit. You know, whether it be things like, you can see the MACD histogram breakout there, the volume breakout, the RSI breaking out through the top of the band. Keep in mind, it's a lower time frame. I don't really care. But the point here is, you know, in fact, we called this like the LJ setup on our site. You know, just wait for the first W on the other side of the trend line and pop! That produced that nice little intraday day trade. So... oh, Jesus, look at this damn thing. It just keeps going, right? Hey, look, there's another W. Oh, look, there's more W's in the indicators. Can you see a bullish divergence in momentum here? It's the same shit that we teach off the daily charts. It's just off of now 1 minute chart, and you're just Mr. Badass motherfucking trader here now, just owning this thing. It's up to you. But it's just so cool that everything that we teach first, and that's what I wanted to do with this whole tweet here, is most important thing is first you gotta build the plan, and you have to set your business up to trade. Get all your shit together. Then you're going to use our tools, and you're just going to surf. Oh, darn. Okay. You're just going to surf through the universe. What is it that I like to see? And hint, hint, hint. If Beamish is surfing through, I only got to the C's. I think as far as I got was like the sort of the G's. Yeah. This universe is so big. It takes me days to get through this. But anyway, I got to the C's and I saw that and I went, holy sheep poop. I mean, it's beautiful. Now, you know, do your own due diligence. Maybe you don't want to invest in this chess. I don't know. It's up to you. I think I went like CoinGecko. And then I went chess. And it's called Tran Chess. $2.27, up 18% on the day. I kind of liked that it was ranked about what does that say here? 430. I don't know whether that's good or bad or indifferent. What I did like was there's 54 million out. That's not bad. I mean, it's not insane over the top heavy. It's not overly light. Market cap 122 million. I mean, in this crazy market, could they jump it up to $1 billion if it's popular? Sure, that's 10x then. Talking some money here. You know, they've got this total value locked kind of stuff. Ooh, super sexy. No idea if that means anything or not, but I hope those people like it. So I didn't mind what I saw here. I mean, it looks relatively positive, and then I read the story, and then they sounded like they had a half-decent story. Right, so Tranche is a tokenized asset management derivatives trading protocol inspired by tranche funds that cater to investors with different risk appetite. Tranche aims to provide different risk return matrix out of a single main fund that tracks a specific underlying asset. Example BTC, the main tranche can be blah, 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 blah. So there you go. Trust score, it looks like they're coming back relatively positive. You know, caveat emptor. Like that it's trading on a whole bunch of different markets, and it's I suppose it's part of the pancake swap, so that's good for you DeFi people. I have no idea if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All I'm going to say is, man, I mean, it's not a terrible story. So, for a guy like me, if I threw 0.01 BTC at a name like this, or whatever the hell what is it? 0.01 BTC right now, that's about $500. Is it possible for me to, number one, see if I can get my original $500 back? Now, I don't know whether I'd want to pay this. That looks like we're getting a little expensive. I'd probably want to reload zone all this, and let's say I'm going to pay that 213. So that means I really want to see 4.25, something like that, just to justify me participating. It's okay. You can see 50% rule is 390, so that's in that neighborhood. Ideally, what I'd like to see here, and this is just Brian, gnarly old trader dude, is I'd actually like to see a nice W come in now. So I'm going to be personally watching this. If I can get that W to come in on reload zones against this check, I'll probably take this trade. And the great part about it is my country at one point kind of got a little upset at Mr. CZ and said, you got to jump through the hoops, sir, or Canadians are not allowed to play. CZ said, all right, I'll jump. And now looks like regulators are happy. So it looks like I could go back and start trading on Binance again. Woohoo, party! So I might just take this trade on Binance myself. But anyway, I thought it was a really good analogy of everything that we do at TRI. The way that I can use these tools in conjunction with just surfing the charts and looking for trade ideas. And frankly speaking, I think the trade speaks for itself. So, setup is a setup is a setup. It's just fascinating how this came up here this morning, and I was just like, hello! I mean, that's basically everything we want to see. And then you want to start to see the W's fire. Like I said, we got 4 lows to work against. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. So, anyway. Nice looking idea. Anyway, so I gave you an idea there in crypto actually today. So Merry Christmas. There's so many cute, so just going through the database, can you see how I'm filling out my ideas? And I stumbled upon this KNC a couple times. Man, this thing looks cool. Same sort of thing, just running through the charts. Do we have a name for when the charts actually do that? Hey, TR, oh yeah, that's cool. Sonny thinks that the Crazy Chicken Show is still the best show out there. Oh, you can't pull crypto prices into Google Sheets anymore? So if anybody knows how to do that, Grim, you're so smart at that stuff. Maybe you can help Sonny there in the lounge. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know the backstory of Kyber Network. I suppose we could do the same thing as we did there a moment ago with that other one. What was that thing? Kyber? Is it like that, I wonder? Kyber Swap? Kyber Network. Yeah, I think it. KNC, I think that's it. So, here's same sort of thing. What do I got here? 146 million? I suppose 1.4 billion. 10x. Well, I guess there's some room to move up. I always like to look at a 1-year chart. Holy shit, look at that chart. Come on, people. I mean, seriously. That's almost funny. I think I'm just going to go back to just trading my own money. I don't need to do this public stuff anymore. It's just that's ridiculous. That's like shooting fish in a barrel. That's almost, that makes me laugh seeing something like that. All right, let's see what the hell else is it. That's the max, eh? So that's everything that they got. Well, I mean, hopefully, whoops, now what have I done? That's a pretty damn good looking. Look at that. That's a W and a W. So two W's. The left and right hand sides are W's within the context of a bigger W. And you're going to have a Batman M right in the middle of the W, which I've told you before. If you ever see a big W form with an M right in the middle of it and they go and blast through that, oh my God, that's so insanely bullish. It's ridiculous. Oh, you know what? I never even tooted my own horn. You want to see the power of these damn double bottoms? This is just ridiculous. You crazy ass motherfuckers. So, do you ever see Brian ever post a chart that kind of looks like that? Have you ever seen Brian post a chart that looks like that? My hunch is, well, not my hunch. My advice is, if you see me post a chart like that, maybe just go buy a couple bucks worth. I mean, look at this. So there's the end result. Boom. I mean, do you want to get rich from this stupid business? I don't know. It's up to you. And hopefully what this image shows you is you don't need every one of your trade ideas to work. You just need a few of them to work really well, and it makes up for all of the shit. Because you're never going to be right 100% of the time. Just get used to it. You just aren't. But, you know, this is like, what, 14 cents? And now we're coming up to like $1, I don't know, $1.15 here? I mean, you know, we're coming up into the neighborhood where, you know, the bottom here is 8 cents. So 8 to 14, oh gee whiz. That's 10x. So, how many times do you have to be right if you can find ideas that can 10x for you just to break even? Well, what are you guys, man? You guys over on YouTube are really active. Who's this? What are you guys saying here? Sometimes each coin doesn't have the recent investors listed, but they are in each hedge fund screener. Oh, okay. You're welcome. Do you know any same style website? Kyber has many investors. Yeah, I am. That's a crazy chart, eh? Jeez, looks like a good chart. Anyway, the point here is that, God, if you see, like, you know, Brian's political views are one thing. But if you see a chart like that, it's almost worth just throwing a buck at it. Maybe you're going to sell half of it at this 50% level, which of course is like 5x, right? So you throw a buck at this thing, you're going to sell half of it, 50 cents worth here, at what, 5x what you bought it, 4x, something like that. So, I mean, I guess your dollar turns into $4, so you're selling half of it for $2. You still got half of it on the books. And then here's the kick in the pants. You know, how do you get rich at this game? Well, why not just forget about the rest of this shit? Just put it on like a USB cold storage device and put it in your safe and just forget about it. What's this? Somebody says, wish I'd had me shit on Binance. Oh well. They closed transfers. Oh. Alright. Didn't Bittrex SYS price underperform Binance almost by 20% at max today? Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, what do you say about Trex? Trex is a funny creature, isn't it? And, you know, here's the kick in the pants is what sort of, you know, like Binance sure seems to be like owning this space, eh? I don't know what you might find that I don't know what the end game with Trex is. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. Well, no, I don't even want to say it. Knock on wood. No sense in jinxing it. Anyway. Okay, so you want get traders got to trade. There are ideas out there. I actually just surfing through the charts on the site as I showed you earlier. I found a bunch of these names. There's that crazy chess. My suggestion for you is right now, concentrate on fundamentals. Just try and find a really good fundamental driver. I like this. It's going up because this product is coming out to market. Right? Really concentrate on the new product. Then you're probably going to have a buy the rumor as people pump the price into that potential event and then sell the news on the other side. So I don't know, but I can see, something like this auto. Are they doing something? Pay attention. You can see there's a W trying to form. This Badger's actually got W's already working here and it's already broken out. What's the fundamental driver here? I don't know, but do yourself a favor and look into them. There's Bake, B-A-K-A. Look at that. I mean, the W hasn't confirmed yet, but it's sitting there. Ooh, look at this guy. The volume's actually coming in on this thing. Look at that. Buyers are stepping up on this thing. That's a W in volume. So what's the story here? And actually, this is one that's probably actually happening as we speak. Because can you see the original double bottom here? There it is. Down, up, down, breakout. It's happening as we speak. Right? And then this is the reload zone pullback. And they went deep on this one. Again, I have no idea what the fundamentals of these things are, so I'm not talking FA whatsoever. Do your own due diligence. You don't get involved in these things if you don't have an idea what the hell these guys are up to. But you can see, Brian and his crazy reload zones. I would definitely be interested at or below this area down in here. And I guess the question ultimately here is, do we have any structure down off the lower time frame to help you sneak your way into something like this? Oh, we can go down a lower time frame. Let's see what we got here. Survey says, so there is that high. And, this would be sort of the more advanced people on the site, our traders who have their plans all vetted. A guy like Hafid, I could totally imagine he would pull up a chart like this. Graham, same sort of thing. I think of Hafid because he's just an absolute whiz with his harmonics. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is a harmonic boom, 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 boom kind of thing. It might be a cipher, whatever. And then notice, wow, look at that beautiful W that's coming in down here. So maybe is RSI oversold? Do we have bullish divergence down here, right? You can just see it's sort of writing itself down here. So if we go... But remember, this is for more the trader, the investor, even your new person to crypto, stuff like this. You got no business looking at these lower time frame charts. But I'm just sort of having fun. So, do we have bullish divs coming in on the move down in here? Yeah, I can't really see anything to get too excited about down here. So we have a new low in price. Momentum went to new low, so no real divs to work with here. RSI actually did get oversold down here. So interesting. This whole area is all a divergence on RSI. So did come down again and test that low there. So there's more divergence in RSI. Then, if this was, at or below reload zones, all right, fine, I want to find a W. And then look at how we W'd within a W here. Love this. This is your sharpshooter trader kind of stuff. So that we've determined this is the higher time frame. I want to get long from at or below down here. So now I'm drilling down to this lower time frame chart. And I want to see those W's. Show me a W. Show me a W. Look at that cute little one down there. That would have been tough to take. But you can see momentum divergence off of our MACD study here. Do like this over here. This looks like a little bit more my speed. And especially this right down in there. Wow, that's beautiful. Because that's, in fact, actually, we were even talking on the site, right? That's a reload zone within a reload. In fact, that's a reload zone below a reload zone. Oh my God, we love those. Suppose you could have said, well, you know, Brian, I'm not gonna try and front run this. I want to see the W come in. So W comes in, down, up, down, breakout, boom, hey. And now I'm gonna be Wyckoff checking this thing to get myself in right there. So anyway you shake it. Good looking little signal down in there, which of course produced that move there. So I don't even know how we got on this thing. Beta versus USDT. It's just another one of these names that I just happen to have on the sheet. So, you know, traders, there are opportunities. And actually, I do kind of like that. I think the reason why I like that is because I think that's actually a daily buy signal right there. Yeah, look at that. Daily chart. Everything's pointing up here. So that's kind of cute. Up. Nice. Huge volume breakout. Gotta love that. Nice. Yeah. So, you know, there are names. You know, but you know, the worst part about this is there's just no guarantees from the management. You don't know what's going to happen here. But, you know, are you a risk taker? Do you step up and take risk? Just got to formulate your plan, identify what your setups look like, and get in there and run your small business of trading. Anyway, do like that W that came in down there. That's cuter than cute. Oh well. Okay, so there's that. Be interesting to see what the fundamental driver there is. Who's this guy? Bangkor. Look at this guy's actually already got a... oh yeah, look at that. I no idea what this story is here. Go and look up. Do your own due diligence. You know how the spiel goes. Make sure to build your plan. If you don't have a plan, then actually this is the last thing in the world you should be looking at. You got to have a plan in place. So you go, all right, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is what I'm going to pull the trigger on. This is the amount of money that I'm going to apply to the trade, you know, based on the percentage of my portfolio that I'm putting on the line. This is the appropriate risk I'm going to take. And what I actually really loved, and keep in mind, this is a huge part of this. You know, remember I showed you that tweet earlier, the 3 steps of you know, really, every trade, every business, every trade, it follows this. It's just so simple, right? You have to have your plan in place, and that means understanding why you're doing what you're doing, what markets you're going to trade, what kind of capital you're working with, what's your motivation, what's the end goal, why the hell are you even doing this? All that's got to be done ahead of time. Don't come to the market spending your money and you're still like, oh, why is it exactly I'm doing this? I mean, that's just asking for trouble. Then, like I said, just use the screener. And in this particular case, the way I would suggest you do it is you're going to pull up, you know, if you have a fancy subscription like TradingView where you can do all of these charts, right? Just pull up a matrix like this. You can see all the W's that are potentially forming. So I'm just going through the screeners and I'm just pulling out every single one that looks kind of appealing, right? I'm pulling out all of these, right? If I see a W working, I'm just going to pull it out. I'm going to plunk it on my sheet here, and then I'm going to do my FA off of this. Then pull up your coin gecko, right? And you want to read a little bit about sort of what the circle jerk message of the day is. Fine. I mean, all I want to do, where's the hell's the damn page I want to show? All I want to do is I just don't want to walk into an idea that, you know, like if this thing right now was valued at like, say, $5 billion, and I want to like go and make like a 10x, then that means this thing has to go to like $50 billion. Is that realistic? Maybe not. So, you know, 146 million? Is it realistic that that goes to 1.5 billion in this kind of world? That's not out of the question. So I'm okay with that. then I just don't want to see obscene numbers. Like this right here, he's got 50 million out. That's not obscene. Obscene is like 500 billion. I mean, we've seen some of these names that just have just a staggering number. Actually, this guy's got 102. So I would prefer less, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's okay. That doesn't make me go, oh, Jesus H. Christ. Also, too, the less supply, the better. I always like that. And then, on these kind of like, these, and I don't know what the proper word is, so I always get it wrong, but like networks like Ethereum, if you keep building stuff on top of Ethereum, they need to use Ethereum. So you can have huge amounts of supply because your Ethereums are being used up in the various applications. So I can't wrap my head around. Like in the stock market, it's really simple. If a company has earnings, then we don't have to worry too much about the amount of shares outstanding. It's just a function of market cap, whether those earnings are sustainable, and what is this sort of market cap and earnings growth rate relative to the peers in its industry. If a company does not have earnings, then shares outstanding are critical, and you have to focus in on companies that have very low shares outstanding, or you're just going to walk into a trap and get smoked. In crypto, I think the basic same premise applies. I don't know what the magic numbers are. And the problem is, in one of these sort of, like the locked in thing, right? So now people are talking, I don't know whether even this Kyber has it or not, but I noticed that other one that we were looking at, it did have a locked in thing, right? The chess, right? It's got down here, total value locked, 1.1 billion? Is that what that says? Holy Jesus. So the market cap is 122 million, but it has 1.1 billion total value locked. So this one I do like because it's only got 54 million out. I like that. That to me sounds sexy. I don't know, but it feels sexy. That to me feels like a good number. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, look at the damn thing. They're bidding it up, bastards. Anyway, we'll see what happens there. It'd be interesting to look at, Cello, because that's another one that I've been interested in. But this is just purely because Danny said that he really liked the network and he'd like to see how it goes. Now, what has it got? 387 million. Ugh. That's pretty big. What the hell is this? 1.9 billion market cap now. Ooh, Jesus. So that means that... Is that right? Yeah. So for me to get like 10x on my money, I got to see this thing go to about $20 billion, eh? Come on, baby. Interesting how this one, total value locked, is 577 million. So it's exact opposite. Like this chess, I don't understand this chess. Can somebody explain this to me? This chess, it says market cap 122 million. But total value locked is 1.1 billion. How does that work? Anybody know how that works? John says it's not chess locked. Okay, so it's maybe apples and oranges. Fair enough. All right. Well, I mean, there's an interesting shopping list for you. If you're just sitting there at home going, here's some clown. He's talking about TA. I bet you're not going to have a lot of people shilling these ideas because they haven't run yet. As soon as they've run and they want you to buy their bags, then, oh my God, out comes the big shill. So, do yourself a favor. How about this Kava? Does anybody know what the Kava? Look at that. That's so pretty. Jojo would call that pretty princess pretty. I don't know whether this thing's ready to go or not, but suppose if it... I can't tell. Does we go off of there? Maybe it's a little bit rich still. Come on, you. Oh, gee whiz. Just won't get... there we go. Well, it's okay. Pullbacks against these, though, is probably interesting levels. That looks a little trappy. There was that Kyber. We talked about the beta. I like the beta because there's some volume coming in here. Like somebody's actually buying. So I don't know what the story is. Might be interesting. In fact, why don't we do this as sort of a science project for TRIers? Everybody come to school tomorrow with your science fair project. So I want those, those classic. They're the three sort of, what are they? They're about 1.5 feet wide by about 3 or 4 feet long. The 3 poster boards, and then you put it all together and you hang it out on the desk. This is why dinosaurs went extinct. What the hell's going on with this damn beta? Look at that. That is a volume breakout if I've ever seen one. Rock and roll. So pay attention. Something's going on. So anyway, what time is it? It's noon. What do you think? Did you guys get any value out of today? I know I've just been blabbing away. The school. Oh, I suppose we should talk about the school a bit, eh? So, FYI, I think I sort of said earlier, half of your job as a trader is to, sort of vet out all the reasons and all your money and spending and all that stuff ahead of time. Don't do that while you're looking at ideas. That's just asking for trouble. And that's, of course, all about building your trading plan and following your plan. You follow the plan, anxiety is low, you can do crazy stuff like this and not be too stressed about it. And you see that there? That is exactly the same image. It's almost identical, folks. It's almost exactly the same image as wherever I put it. Just that right there. It's almost identical. It's literally almost exactly the same. It's up to you, folks. Don't go and buy assist there. That's just I hate when people do that. If anything, you should be selling into that strength and counting all your profits. Yeah. So we have a raffle coming up. And I think I have it. Yeah, so here's the school wait list for this coming term. Usually what we do for 1 week ahead of the new school term starts, we go into sort of a bit of a marketing tizzy. We have one of our site vets who does up daily video summaries, and he sends them out to all you people and stuff that are on our mailing list, and then talks a little bit about some of the crazy ideas that I talk about in the videos. He does such a fantastic job of summarizing it. And we also, be prepared for that. And you can get sort of the daily briefs if you don't sign up for the site. But keep in mind, you can come on the site and just basically sign up for a 30-day trial anytime you want. But we do have a raffle coming up. And the raffle, and actually it's kind of funny because that's what actually got sent out. Oh, okay, so that's that one. Oh, look at that, it's up and running now. Dun, 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 dun. So there you go. Right, so if you want to sign up for the wait list, and you actually get entered in on the raffle, you can go about this route. Which actually, you know what? I think I would. Let's stick with that. I know Grim put together a form, but actually, I think I would prefer to go this route. So, if you want to be in the raffle, I'm going to put the raffle link, that page right there, so you guys have it. I'll try and put it in the description and stuff. And long and short of it, there is you can join that. It's nice and easy. It's a nice, simple website. You can see it's nice and pretty. And we'll do a raffle for a seat in the upcoming school term next Sunday. And the whole point of this, okay? Try and understand, folks. You're going to hate me when I say this. I'm so sorry, but here it comes. I am not here to tell you what to buy and sell. I do not give a shit what you buy and sell. I just don't care. What I would really like to see is people who are demonstrators of best practices. How do you run an effective small business of trading? And that's going back to this kind of stuff, where you have to set yourself up ahead of time. You have to get all your plan and stuff done. You have to figure out what type of risk taker you are. You have to model all that. And I mean, it's so beautiful listening to like guys like Josh, and he does such a great job of this. Because I'm so gnarly old trader, dude. I just bark at you. But, you know, Josh, he articulates this so well. There are very distinct and different types of risk takers in the market. You just have to know that. You have to understand it. And you have to embrace the type of risk taker you are. And frankly speaking, I like this guy right here. This is actually who I kind of espouse to be. And I have played all of these roles, trust me. Actually, I mean, it's fun to play the, like, hell, I took $500 and ramped it up even now. I think that the portfolio is worth a few hundred G's. So don't get me wrong, little old ladies can have a lot of fun, but I'll tell you, the guys who actually I think have the most fun in the market are the Joe Sixpaxes. These guys, they can make insane amounts of money. That's like that, that German guy that Da Vinci fell in love with, right? You can understand that guy, but did you see like some of the swings that he had to take? I think one post he put out that he lost like $2 million in like one day of mass liquidations. Hey, if you can handle that kind of stress in your life, totally awesome. And if anything, it makes perfect sense, right? Both of them are bachelors, relatively young guys. They can take the risk. A lot of us, we're not that young and virile. I would say, ironically enough, the easiest actually market participant is this guy. Actually, you know, like when you tune into like CNBC and you hear Kramer talking about, you know, like people call in and want like 3 or 4 picks that they have in their portfolio. That is basically these people. Right. So the point being that all of them are perfectly realistic. They're all perfectly normal market participants. You have to figure out who you are. And I can't tell you who you are. Like, there are a lot of people that are very happy living this life, and they can make a lot of money from trading. But I can tell you, in my elderly age state, I'm no longer this type of person. I used to, and I was a prop trader. I was a broker. I had clients who were all these types of people. In fact, actually, I was trying to find an old broker buddy of mine, and I think, actually, I have to call him. I think I found him. This is the guy who taught me the whole sell half on a double strategy, and unfortunately, I don't know whether that's actually him or not. Anyway, over in North Van, I think this is like an old folks home. Like, that's how old he is. Keep in mind, these guys that I worked with, I mean, that was a long, long time ago. Anyway. Yeah, I hear somebody say that Kramer's a shill. That's not the point I was trying to get across. I actually think that the strategy that he speaks to, especially if you're like a high net worth guy, which I think is sort of their preferred audience. The guy he's sitting on maybe like a $500,000 401k, and he's got like he wants to put like $100,000 into like 4 or 5 different names, right? So that's the audience that he speaks to, and frankly speaking, I think that's generally right. There's not a hell of a lot wrong with it. The actual particular names, well, I mean, the market's the market. The best part about the market is you pick a good stock, damn thing goes up, you look like a genius. You pick stock, it tanks, it goes under, you look like an idiot, and it doesn't matter who you are. I can guarantee you Jim Cramer's had lots of winners and lots of losers. You know, Peter Lynch, lots of winners, lots of losers. LBR, lots of winners, lots of losers. Brian Beamish, lots of winners, lots of losers. Everyone, we're all the same. And if anything, this is the number one reason why you don't really ever want to meet your mentor. And like, a lot of new people, especially people watching this feed for the first time. And I remember when I first started doing these videos, people thought I was some sort of like guy who's like lived up on the top of a mountain or something and was like, 100 years old and all gray and gnarly and stuff, and Mr. Captain of Industry. I'm just another dude, just like all of you. Just as LBR is, just like Kramer is, just like Peter Lynch is, just like anybody. We're all just individuals trying to do this, and you don't really want to meet me, because then when you meet me, you go, well, this guy's just another schlub just like the rest of us. I tell you, that's what happens. They always say you never want to meet your heroes. Anyway, so new squirrel terms coming up here. You want to set yourself up for success? That's up to you. Do I go down the capitalist rabbit hole and the whole shill rabbit hole as hard as these other people do? I did find it interesting that there was a gentleman out of California who had absolutely no experience trading in the markets whatsoever. Now he has a YouTube channel that has something like 6 million followers. He dyed his hair pink and bright yellow. Surprised actually he didn't get a nose ring or an earring yet. Is Mr. Kramer heavily motivated by your desire to sell Tide laundry detergent? I think so. And, because I swear so much and I'm so irreverent, I don't know whether that'll ever happen for me. Probably the day that I retire will be the day that Tide laundry detergent comes to Sjord and Julian and they're like, okay, here's 500 million bazillion dollars. We want to buy this entity outright. Now that foul-mouthed old man is gone. Who knows? Anyway, I'm just being silly. I think it's the same message. It's just that I'm not nearly as shilly. But it's basically saying, you know what it all comes down to? And it's kind of funny, but it really all comes down to this is ideally what it is you're trying to do here. And it doesn't matter whether you're Mr. $100 million portfolio or $100,000 portfolio. It's basically the same thing. So it's kind of boring. It's very conservative, but this will keep you alive, right? Spread the jelly out. I hear lots of people on the site even like, hey, this is such a totally awesome idea. You guys should check this out. I'm totally open to everything. Just remember Brian's 2 rules of investing, right? If you're going to invest, it's a really good idea to have some sort of like algorithm that says, well, because insiders are buying and because they're making money and because they're relatively good share structure or coin structure or whatever, fundamentally, I like the idea. Well, it's at the bottom end of a trading range. It's got a nice big fat W in price. All right, I can justify spending my money. Nothing wrong with that thinking whatsoever. And then the second one, and that's where most people fail at this, is just try not to risk more than 5% of what it is you got to work with on any one single idea. There, I just basically summarized the entire investment process for you in basically, 2 or 3 sentences. So, those guys, of course, they'll tell you that you have to, well, no, I'm not going to. What's the point? Anyway, you take a screenshot of that. That's in essence what you're trying to do. Just spread the jelly. Don't take too much risk, right? It's just that simple. In fact, the reason why they have a financial planning industry is because, frankly speaking, that's a lot of work. So, maybe what you want to do is you want to hire a professional to help you put all that together. It's not such a bad idea, especially if you're dealing in a bit of size. So, if you want some help trying to put that plan together, you want to do it on your own, you can always watch all our free videos. There are people on YouTube that do that. Great Del Moody, we talk to him almost every single week, put together a whole trading manual on how to invest based on these free videos. That's a lot of work. And way to go, great Del Moody. I think he's benefited from the amount of work. You want to try and fast track that a bit? Maybe you're like, well, I've got kids, Brian. I'm actually an accountant. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I want to kind of speed this up a bit. Our education program has done a fantastic job of basically taking 30 years of my career and distilling it into about 30 weeks of educational material. And it probably would take you about a good year to work your way through that. And I'll tell you, people that take the program, they come out the other side, I have no worries whatsoever about them. Sometimes it takes them a little while to sort of put it all together and get their act together. And sometimes I even have students come to me after they've done the education program and say, Brian, I fought you on your ideas, but eventually I came around to it. As soon as I started doing what it is that you taught me, boom, the money started coming in. And that's fine. You will get it at your own pace. The point of the matter is this shit works. It just does. It's straightforward. It does. So if you want that sort of put together in a pretty package, and that's really what all this is. Actually, I have a commitment letter that I tell everybody. If you decide to come on the website for a 30-day trial, please read this first. This is basically what we do. And then once you're done that, basically this is what I think every new trader goes through. You're going to have to understand who you are. And believe it or not, I think all of you coming to me to learn this is who you are. You are a baby. You don't know what you're doing. And if anything, I have to undo a lot of the bad shit that's happened to you. But we get you to the point after the level 1 course of at least just understanding what it is that you have to do. You may not do it, but at least you understand it. Then level 2, what I see, and this is the great part about our education program, is seeing those people who become empowered, that actually go, you know what? Now I can go and explore the marketplace without feeling like I'm just getting totally taken advantage of. And then ultimately, we want to get you to the point where you don't even really think about the process anymore. I've just drilled it into your head week after week after week after week that you start acting intuitively into the market, where you see an opportunity and you've already practiced it so much that you just go for it and you demonstrate best practices when you go for it. That's ideally where we want to get you. Once you're here and you've got that veteran tag, then you can go take the information that Sjord has literally presented to you on a silver platter. I mean, this information is it's just absolute gold. And you can go and take appropriate risks. Right? I'll even give you some of these signals I've built here. You're not going to find these signals anywhere else in the crypto universe, in the stock universe. They just don't exist. So, and the great part about it is we built this out. So, if you're a U.S. stock trader, great. If you're a Canadian stock trader, if you're Australian stock trader, all our buddies down under. European stocks, we have a whole European universe, and of course for all you crazy crypto kids, crypto tastes great. Tons and tons of crypto stock or crypto information. So actually with still some stock information, you can see our weekly signals still coming along, so kind of funny there's still some stock stuff in there. Anyway, so we've got the school program coming up here. Start of a new school term. David will be sending out highlights of our daily briefs. We have the raffle coming up basically at the end of the week. There is the form. But I think I like the idea of just going off of that sign-up page. So I'm glad actually we have that up and running. Thank you so much, Grim, for putting that form together. You are awesome. But I think, if anything, I'm happy that this is new, up and running, and let's get everybody to sign up through here. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the offering. It's about 12:30, so I've been chatting for about an hour and a half, giving you a few ideas to chew on. So, in fact, actually, we had a really nice little. I don't know what the hell's going on here with this beta, but pay attention, man. Something's going on here. Giving you a nice little list, a shopping list for you to consider. There's 8 names that you want to go and do some shitcoin nibbling against bottom ends of ranges. In fact, actually, some of these are not even shitcoins; they're even a little bit better. But you want to do some due diligence. I think that's a nice little list right there to chew on. Not really overly excited about the corn. We'll have another sort of crypto-specific meeting on Wednesday. In fact, we'll probably do another shill for the raffle in the school on the Wednesday show as well. So maybe pop in on Wednesday. In fact, we should try and figure out a way to incentivize you guys to come on to that Wednesday show. But we'll be talking more crypto and on Wednesday. And as you can see from the most recent broadcast, which was last Wednesday, I'm actually looking for kind of a neutral price performance out of the corn. So I'm not really looking for a hell of a lot until next Wednesday. We just came out of a down troughing experience here. If anything, we did pretty well through this down trough, so that's good. There might be a little bit more push down here, but I do like the idea that by the time we roll around to Wednesday, we're basically right where we were. And I still think that we're oscillating around this big fat round number 50 Gs. So I don't think we're ready to really lose that just yet. And then as I sort of said earlier, as long as we're still above 50% rules here, I'm feeling positive for the space. If we start losing this 35,000 area, then I think, we'll probably get ready for crypto winter and we got to do some serious correcting. But I just don't see it just yet. So for now, they've backed her up against these lows and they're holding her in here. And if anything, I do like the idea of shopping in the smaller names and just picking and choosing your names and enjoying yourself in the market. Don't fall in love with any of this stuff. We're very, very late in the cycle, which means that at some point this whole damn thing's going to top out and we got to go through a year or two of cleanup. So just be prepared, folks. Okay, Josh, what do you think? Did I do a half-decent sales pitch? Is there anything in particular I should have said that I missed? Better than half good. All right, that's encouraging. We'll call it a half full sales pitch rather than half empty, right? Okay, everybody, PMA for the win. Get on this site. I tell you, this site, for site veterans, we're giving this away for a ridiculously low price right now, but we're just trying to onboard, and there's still some mistakes and stuff. Happy that we finally got the product out the door, though, so we're actually selling this as a product. Super, super insanely cheap, but I will tell you, I'm not keeping this cheap much longer. In fact, I even told Josh today that I'm ready to actually double the price of what it is that we're shilling it at right now. And don't come to me a couple weeks from now, Brian, I want that other price. Why'd you go and double it? It will double again after that very quickly. And then it will double again after that until we get it up to the point where actually it's fair market value. So just be prepared. This thing is going to go up in price. If you want it, you better get in there and grab it now. All right, everybody. Wish me luck with Liam. Always appreciate those fond wishes. If you have questions on how to sign up, I think, Josh, we had links and stuff. I thought we had a link up top here, but I guess we got rid of it. I'm just going to say, Josh, do you think you can be the quarterback if anybody wants to sign up for this and they can't figure out? Can I just send them to you? Pretty please? With sugar on it? Yay! Cool. There you go. So your answer is you want to take advantage of that ridiculous deal, we're just giving this to you now, then just PM Josh and he'll give you the link and all that kind of stuff. Thank you very much for all your best wishes for Jepa! No, not that bastard. I hate that fucker. Thank you for your best wishes for Liam and I on the road today. I have to go now spend the next hour or two getting pretty for him, and trust me, it takes me a good hour or two to get pretty for him. So I'm gonna be slapping on the lipstick pretty thick here soon. Have yourselves a great day, everybody. PMA for the win. All the best. Would love to see you in our school program. I want to change your life. Let me change it. It's up to you, though. Can't force you. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. And bye.